at this view. It's freaking great. I love Washington. This is like an hour from my house. Insane. Literally the prettiest thing in the whole world. Let's dive into this video. Okay, guys. So I'm filming this video and the last video that was on the channel in one day, basically. Is this a snake? Oh. Guys, I thought this was a snake. It's a shoelace. I was so excited. I've seen like one snake in Washington and it was like a gardener snake in my garden. Gardening snake? It's a gardening snake? It's a snake that gardens for fun. Oh, look at this mushroom. Look at this guy. No, I'm like, my ADHD is really kicking in right now. All right, guys, so yes, filming this video and the last video in one go. And if you didn't see in the last video, I started a Discord and it's really cool. It's pretty much a place where my community, not GXOR, official sus, can all get together, talk about GXs, Toyotas, off-road vehicles, bring your Jeeps, I don't know, sure. And share spots, share camping, share ideas, share whatever. It's a little community I really want to try to make, and I'll do giveaways there, so stay tuned for the next video. But yeah, we'll do like giveaways and stuff in there, and it'll just be a place for me to connect more with you guys. That's not, you know, Instagram or just YouTube, because as much as I love YouTube, it doesn't feel as engaging because it's just me. I'm talking to a camera. This video, I want to talk about kind of similar to the last video, right? Like it's been a week, right? You've bought the vehicle, you have a GX470, that's awesome. What are some things you should know about it? What are some things I didn't know about it that I had to learn the hard way and look like an idiot? Well, let's get in the truck, let's take a look. If you're like me or any other normal person, you've never heard a second start. I haven't. Never seen it in anything else. So what is it? You see this button right here? Right next to this spot where you're supposed to put your lockers. Second start. What is that? What does it do? Okay, it's actually really neat. What it does is, let's say you're stuck, you're in snow, somewhere slippery, put your truck into 4 low. Most people recommend using 4 low. Put your truck in 4 low, hit second start from a stop, and it'll actually start you in second gear. It's really cool that it's built in. All right, what's next on the list? I don't know, let me go check. Ah, of course, the transfer case. How do you use it? What does it do? What is a center locker? What are these things? So let's talk about the GX for a second. The GX470 is full-time four-wheel drive. That basically means it's all-wheel drive. That's exactly what it means. It's all-wheel drive. It's an all-wheel drive vehicle. The center lockers, however, make it true four-wheel drive. Let's get nerdy. What is the difference between all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive? The simple difference is all-wheel drive does not mean 50% of power goes to the front, 50% power goes to the rear. It means there's a computer in there that's analyzing whatever you're on, so you start to lose traction. Let's say you're driving on a wet road. You start to lose traction on your front right wheel. Your front right wheel. That's shows like the hardest sentence to say. Front right wheel loses traction. What the engine or the ECU will do is send power to that wheel. So instead of it being 25, 25, 25, 25, it'll be like 50, I don't know, whatever the rest is, right? It'll put most of the power to the front right wheel or whatever wheel is losing traction to hopefully gain some traction. Just like snow, the worst thing to do in snow is to brake. It's to give it some gas to get the traction back. That's what all-wheel drive does. It's really, really neat system, but if you're off-roading, it's a really bad system. Think about if you're driving and you know, some loops or some dips, front tire comes off the ground. Your computer and your vehicle will send all the power to that front tire that's in the air, thinking it lost traction, it needs to get some traction. Well, listen, in the air, if you spin the tire more and more, it's not gonna do anything. You're just gonna look like an idiot and get stuck on a very simple obstacle. So what do? You lock your center diff. What this does on the GX470 is it makes sure that no matter what, there is 50% power going to the front and 50% power going to the rear. This does not mean you have full front and rear lockers though. That's a whole nother topic for another day, but to kind of highlight it real quick, what lockers do is exactly what a center locker does, where it distributes 50% power between the front and the rear. Front and rear lockers distribute 50% power between each wheel. Does that make sense? Hope it does. Same scenario can technically happen. Let's say you're driving and you have your center lock engaged, so you have 50% power in the front and the rear. Same, that front wheel, it's off the ground, right? So again, your engine or your ECU is telling your tires or whatever, your axles, to send as much power as they can to that front right wheel. Well, here's how it works. If you didn't have the center locker engaged, only that wheel would try to spin, right? Maybe the other wheels would kind of spin, but for the most part, that wheel would spin the most. When you have a locker and the center locker engaged, what's going to happen is you're going to have 50, so you have 100% power, right? You're going to have 50% power in the front going to that single wheel that's in the ground. So your left wheel that is on the ground, that's not moving. It's going to stop moving. It's going to send all the power there. But the other 50% power that you have in the rear will be distributed between the two tires. So instead of getting 100% of that power to the wheel that's in the ground, you'll still have another 50% to do something with it. Lockers just do that to another extreme, right? If that wheel is spinning in the air, you engage locker, and this is so confusing. I'll draw a diagram. Instead of having 50% power going to that front wheel, like it would if you had center lockers, only 25% power would be going to each wheel no matter what the scenario is. But that's what center lockers do. So that little center locker button on your GX, that's what it does. Super important. I would use it in any scenario you're off-road. Now your transfer case. This is a fun one, and this is a mistake that I have made myself, and I made it pretty much a week after I got the GX, and I was scared. I almost called the tow truck, didn't know what to do. So if this thing is ever in N, if you bump it, your kid knocks it, whatever happens, none of your gears will work. Pretty much what this is this is basically like having your clutch engaged. It's not going to actually engage in any of your actual gears. Nothing's actually going to get selected because your transfer case is in neutral. So yes, if you ever put your vehicle in drive and nothing is happening when you're hitting the gas, that's why. It sounds so silly, but I made the mistake. I read forums. Dozens of people have made this mistake, and most people are too embarrassed to ask about it. So here it is, guys. Watch this video first before you make that mistake. And also another good like anti-theft technique is you can actually put it in neutral. Just make sure you obviously engage your parking brake because your truck will just roll. Yeah, you can totally, because park doesn't also engage in when you're in neutral. But leave your transfer case in neutral. Most people won't understand. If they get in the car to steal it and they start it, whatever, they won't actually understand how to get it to drive. They'll just think, oh shit, this is not working. This is an anti-theft, whatever, and they'll get out of your car. Unless they have GX and are watching this video. But yeah. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, so kind of talked about in my last video was the years matter, right? Every GX has a special thing that whatever year it came out, something is different than the year prior or vice versa, whatever. So, talked about this last video, but like 03 to 04, or sorry, yeah, 03 to 04 was all 2 years. 03 and 04 were non-VVTi engines. 05 to 09 were VVTi engines. The only real difference is you get a little bit more horsepower in the VVTi, but it's not as easy to supercharge. This is the things you should know, because when you actually have already owned a GX, things are different, and so when you're looking to buy things, it's handy to know what the differences are in your GX versus a different year. The other thing is your media. So the 07 to 09 has updated nav screens. So if you want to install things like Grom, V-Line, or whatever, you're better off doing that if you have an 07 to 09. And also, if you've been looking for your aux cable, just know that's only available on the 07 and 09 as well. Let's get to the next thing. Okay, real quick, to add on to that, KDSS and non-KDSS. Make sure you know which one you have. When you're upgrading your suspension, your sliders, a lot of the things that go on the bottom of your vehicle, like skid plates and stuff too, it matters if you have KDSS or not. KDSS is big and chunky and gets in the way of a lot of things. So it's handy to know if you have KDSS. I have a few friends that had no idea if they did or not. So look under the vehicle, and if you see something that looks hydraulic in the rear side, in the rear of your vehicle, you have KDSS. For example, this is what mine looks like, and I don't have KDSS. Okay, so right here, you'd see big hydraulic thingies. I'll put a picture up so you can see what it looks like. You have a GX, congrats. Now it's time for you to worry about the maintenance nightmares of owning a Toyota. Ugh, it's not that bad. Just make sure you stay on top of your maintenance. Number one things are obviously oil changes. This is a weirdly controversial topic. What oil you should use, what interval oil change, what interval should you change your oil in? I don't know why it's controversial. I change my oils anywhere in between 4,000 to 5,000. That's just what I've done with all my vehicles. And sometimes I'll change them earlier if I know I have a big trip planned and I'm only at 3,500, I'll change it. Your timing belt. Timing belt's important. Every 100,000 miles or less, you should have your timing belt replaced. This is important. Made a whole video about it. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Time belts are extremely important, and I kind of dive more into it and on why they're important in that video. Go check out that video. To finish it off, everyone's favorite question, and unfortunately you get made fun of if you ask this in the GXR group or really any off-road group. What is the biggest tire you can fit on a GX470? That's a complex question. There's a dude on the internet who has, he actually in Washington, has 47s on his GX. If you're unaware, that's really big. I have 33s, 285 70s, which is basically a 32.95 or something like that. And it fits. I don't have a lift. I have no suspension upgrades. I am stock on everything with suspension, and I fit. So here's the rule of thumb. You can fit 285 70s on, this is your stock offset. If you change your offset, you get new wheels, that changes things. I'm not talking about that. Your stock GX wheels, which most people start with, you can fit 285 70s or 33s. They fit. The only thing you have to do is, if you don't want to do any suspension things yet, which I didn't, body mount chop. But body mount chop is pretty much, oh, you can actually see it. So this little section right here, normally it comes out way further. It's like this. Body mount chop literally just chops it, puts a plate over it, welds it. Make sure you do weld it. Don't leave it open, because as you can tell, it gets really dirty. You don't want it to rust. That is the place where your body mount is located, and you don't want that to rust through or get damaged. Okay, so you can fit that. 33s, stock height. You just need a body mount chop. I would recommend massaging the inner liner of your wheel wells, just to make sure it fits even better. But it does fit. You will rub a little bit on your upper control arms, but it's nothing bad, and it's only really at full lock. So yeah, rear fits just fine. You don't have to do anything. I would remove your side steps because they're ugly, but you should be fine. And then you can also fit 35-inch tires with a mild lift and a little bit of massaging of that wheel, of that fender liner. Again, body mount chop will be necessary. It's like a $200 thing. Just get it done. It's 100% worth it. If you need a guy in Arizona, let me know. I have a guy. He's killer. He literally did the best job I've ever seen. I've seen some really horrendous body mount chops. Dylan, if you're watching this, I'm talking about yours. 33s and 35s. If you want to go bigger than that, you're going to have to do some serious work. But it's possible. These are all questions I had when I first got the GX, and people are nice when they answer these questions for some reason. Especially the what size tire can you fit? People are quick to get upset, get mad, whatever. But what can you do? That's why I made this video, so you guys can all learn this stuff without being ridiculed. Because a lot of the people that, you know, are on this channel are new to this stuff and want to learn, just like I did. That's it. That's all I have for this video. Thank you guys for sticking around and watching. The next videos are going to be really fun. I'll have a little giveaway too, so make sure to hit subscribe, head over to the description of the video, and join the Discord. Again, cool little community I'm making there, so make sure to join the Discord. If you guys have any questions, hit me up on Instagram. If you guys want to ask some questions that you might think people will make fun of you for in the GXOR group or anything, shoot me a message. More than happy to answer anything. I'm gonna get out of here. It's getting cold. I'm getting attacked by bugs. I'll see you guys later. Peace.